Dr. Luck, what would you say has been most challenging for you and maybe what you experience with your students? But also, I'd like to know what has been the silver lining with remote learning?
I think the most challenging thing for me is really knowing whether the students are getting it.
Mm.
It's hard to read their body language and their facial expressions as well over Zoom. And so sometimes I'm just talking and I see a blank screen and a lot of blank faces, and I just don't know if the students are understanding or not. And what the students can do to help with that is ask questions.
Mm-hmm.
And actually asking a question will make you learn better.
Mm-hmm.
Just the mere fact that you've asked the question. So what the students can do to help us is like smile at the right moment, and if you really didn't understand something, just type a question mark into the chat, something like that, to keep that feedback going back and forth. Mm-hmm. And in terms of silver linings, I would think that the number one thing would be how we're really going to make our exams better forever as a result of this. It's really forced us to do what we should have been doing all along in terms of asking those deeper questions, those application questions.
Dr. Underley, how about you? What has been most challenging for you, and what would you say has been the silver lining?
The challenging part has been really the student tech issues and sussing them out. And I think I'll do a much better job in the fall, figuring that out sooner to help students be ready for all the bandwidth and tech needs that they're going to have during the quarter. I think the silver lining has been I've learned that even if I'm on person, I think I will still use Zoom and online recording to put out additional content or review sessions or things like that I never thought of doing before. Mm-hmm. So this spring, there were several times I ran out of time in class, and I just thought, no problem. Tonight, I'm going to record a session of me doing 3 or 4 advanced problems that I never get the time to do. And I've got to do many more additional sessions that I would normally do to do those advanced kind of problems that I don't always have time in class. So actually the amount of time that I have to convey information has expanded, and the types of problems I'm able to work through are much better, more thoughtful, because I have the space to post additional questions and things like that. Mm-hmm. So I'll definitely keep doing that even when we're back in person.
Dr. Ruiz, how about you?
So I shared the same sort of challenges and silver linings as Dr. Endele and Dr. Luck, but also I was thinking about how I came into teaching because I really loved the engagement piece. I love to see those the flashlights go off and the oh kind of moments that I was worried I would miss, because some students aren't able to be on with their webcam because of technical issues or bandwidth issues or whatever might be happening. And then I worried about those students. That was another challenge. How do I reach out to the students that I'm seeing blank screens for, who I'm not seeing at all? Mm-hmm. And how can I make sure that they're okay and we're engaging? But as a result, the silver lining of that challenge was really that I connected at a much deeper level with some students that I think I wouldn't have in the past. So normally in a face-to-face, there are a bunch who you kind of start walking to class with, walking back from the office hour, student hour turns into 2 or 3. But I felt that because of my worry, this challenge, I ended up doing much more direct outreach. And as a result, ended up having much more personal engagement with the students. And then I also was able to see, another silver lining was that I was able to really see them grow individually and as a group because of this smaller interaction that needed to take place to break up a much larger class. So I think I'm just really impressed with how well everyone stepped up to the plate, quite honestly.
Dr. Luck, I have a personal question for you. I'm a parent of a high school senior about to be a college student. And like many other parents, I'm sure, we're wondering what the quality of instruction has been like in this new remote environment. Do you want to speak to that?
Sure. I also have a high school senior, a son. I also have a daughter who just finished her second year of college. So this is all very much on my mind as a parent as well as an instructor. And I can tell you that UC Davis has put enormous effort, time, money into doing a great job with the remote teaching. So in the psychology department, a couple of us worked closely with the campus leadership to work out all the details of how to make this work. And we had several meetings of all the instructors in psychology in the 2 weeks that we had between when we learned we were going to teach remotely and when the spring quarter began. And we assembled all the resources, we got all the best knowledge, best ideas, and we worked together. And the end result was a lot of really great classes. And then we even had faculty from other departments who learned from what we were doing. We put together a website that we shared. We really wanted to do the best job possible because we really care about the students. We do this because we want students to learn. That's why we do this. So we did a lot to figure out the technology, to figure out how to engage the students, how to optimize the testing. We made some mistakes early on, but we were really paying close attention, so we were able to fix those. And the end result were some pretty good classes. Right now, we're preparing to update all of our classes for the fall. So we have a message board where all the faculty are writing about what worked and what didn't work for them in the spring. And we're taking that, and on Thursday of this week, we're going to have a meeting where we will all talk about what works, what doesn't work, share ideas, and really work to make the fall quarter just exceptional. And I can tell you that most of the professors are spending way more time on teaching right now than they would ordinarily because there's so much more to do because we want the courses to be good. And from what I've seen, people have been incredibly creative in how they've solved all of the problems. And it's really worked for our students.
Great. Dr. Ruiz, what has been your experience with the quality of the classes that you're seeing in communication?
I couldn't agree more with Dr. Luck. Everybody's working extremely hard. And luckily, our department has, in the last few years, had moved to really engage a student population online already. So quite a few of our faculty are very well versed in teaching online, fully online. So we have that in our favor. But more than anything, I think I would just add that you were interested in coming to Davis because of its people. So the faculty and the great minds, the research here, and that hasn't changed because it's gone online. You still have people who are extremely dedicated to bringing you the most up-to-date, important information in their fields. But as Dr. Luck said, also really dedicated to ensuring that we take care of our students and ensure that they're learning and are able to move forward with a great education and a great understanding of the material.
Dr. Underley, thoughts?
I definitely agree with my colleagues. Faculty that I've talked to have been putting in a lot of effort to make this work for the students. I can say for even to be specific, for my first exam, spring quarter, I wrote the same level of difficulty exam that I normally write, and the students performed at the same level as I expected. So over the years, there's a statistical trend, and the students this quarter performed just as if we were in person. But I would say what the students are getting from myself and probably many of my colleagues are additional content that we're posting online that I would have not normally posted, but because of the technology available, I've been posting a lot more higher, I don't know if I want to say quality, but problems that take a lot more reasoning to get through. And so they're getting a lot more quality as far as that goes. So I've been really well pleased with how it's been going as far as from the student end and the sort of content that they're receiving.
I'd like to add one more thing, which is that it's just generally true that you get out of college what you put into it. And that's even more true with this remote learning. I saw my daughter in her finishing up her second year of college, and she really pushed herself and really dove into the materials that she was doing. And she ended up having a really great term as a result. So it's going to require a little extra work from students to like filter out all of the parents asking them to do the dishes and brothers and sisters running around making noise. But if they really focus, if they really devote themselves, they're going to learn a ton.
Great.
I think what we're also failing to recognize as a plus is now students can access, for the most part, I believe all of us, whether we do asynchronous or synchronous teaching, we still provide an asynchronous option. So students can, unlike face-to-face, they can come back to whatever we've said in lecture and pause where they need to pause and reflect where they need to reflect. And so I think it provides an added benefit, if anything, that they have us 24/7 in terms of the material. And so I think that's worked out really well for some students who've struggled in the past, especially with note taking. It is a skill. And so if you're face-to-face, you have to very quickly decide, is this something I need to write down, or is this where I ask a question? And now we're in a place where they can come back to it if they need to. And if it's still not clear, they can certainly ask the question and they'll get that response. But it gives students actually more time with the material if they want it. And for that reason, they're probably engaging with the material so much more than they would have otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
Just one other thing I would note is how the students have stepped up. I mean, this was an incredibly challenging thing for our students. But our students are so smart and they are so committed and motivated that they really rose to the challenge and did an amazing job.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Underley. Thank you, Dr. Ruiz. Thank you, Dr. Luck, for being here, for giving us your insight and your impressions on how things went. Thank you for supporting our students, for continuing to teach our students. As the parent of a about to be college student, I thank you for all the work that you're doing. I hope people will look to UC Davis and see that we have really risen to this occasion, as we normally do, as we usually do, I think, at UC Davis. So thank you, and thank you, everybody, for joining us today. Check out more of these videos if you have more questions or want to learn more about how UC Davis is handling this new environment, this new situation. Everybody, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.